Hey y'all, welcome back. We are back here with episode 4 of Chrisean and Blueface reality show Crazy in Love. This episode is called It's Complicated. Right? So when I left off with you guys, we were discussing Chrisean was having some sort of meltdown, the boo-hoo, the crying. I don't know what was going on. But in any event, she was still boo-hoo crying and so on and so forth. And then she sent like a weird cryptic tweet that said something about it being a crazy world we live in. I don't know. I don't know what was going on with Chrisean in that moment, but she was boo-hoo crying, yada yada yada. So then her and her stylist L. I told you guys I like L. I like L. I like L as Chrisean's friend because I feel like L is, to a certain degree, he's sensible, but he's also not judgmental. So the way that he conveys things to Chrisean is like, I'm gonna wait for the appropriate time and place to let you know you tripping, but I'ma also wait for that appropriate time and place so you don't feel like I'm judging you. So I like L. But anyway, her and L are exchanging their goodbyes because remember she's in Oklahoma City, coming from court. And she has family out there, so she's exchanging her goodbyes with them, and I guess that's why she was crying. I don't know. I don't really know. In any event, they're saying their goodbyes. And then she starts telling Elle in the car how Blueface is still in Vegas. And, again, that gets under her skin because she feels like he's a cheating, lying bastard. And when he's out there, he's doing him. So she tries to, reverse, the power and say, well, you know what? I'm going to go visit my family in Baltimore. Right? And, again, what I saw with Blueface, well, not what I saw, what she expressed in that moment was like, once she said that, like, he deleted her off social media and deleted their videos off social media and blocked her. And I feel like he was coming once again with his Stevie J tactics to get a rise out of her because he know if he holds out the longest, and he can make her lose her shit, right? So in any event, she was like, he blocked her, he did all of that, he deleted it off social media. Yada, 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 yada. What I didn't like was she was like, I know he doing all that for attention. But then she turned around and said, but he got mine. So that let me know, like, he's pulling a stunt and I'm going to fold under the pressure. So, again, that didn't shock me because Chrisean is who she is and she's who she is for Blueface. So, anyway, she started going through the issues about Blueface and her family and them having a fight and, how she feels like she wanted things to go. Like, certain people got to respect certain shit. Like, her family got to respect that's her man. He has to respect they're upset because they're her family. All of that type of stuff. She's kind of explaining to Elle. And Elle was just there listening like, okay, Chrisean, this sound crazy, but I'm listening. Yeah, Elle, just listen, right? You're a good friend. Then they get back to LA. Her pump faking about going to visit her family in Baltimore must have been just that, pump faking, because she didn't go visit no family in Baltimore. She went back to their LA apartment, right? Their LA home, right? So when she gets there, it's only her and the dogs there, and she says that, she going to hang out for the night. Blueface is in Vegas doing what he do, so she's going to hang out and do what she do, right? So when she got back to their home, it's her and Elle, and they get out the car. She like, Elle, get me an outfit out the suitcase, and he's looking through the suitcase because he's her stylist. And he's looking for her something to wear, and she went upstairs and she was going to get something to wear, right? And it's one thing that I have an issue about regarding this scene, and I don't know if I have this issue because of Chrisean, or I don't know if it's just Zeus's editing, right? Because on reality shows, right, because I watch plenty of them, been watching since 2006, but I really got seriously watching in 2011, right? They will show little snippets and pieces of certain things to kind of let you know where things are going, right? So when they got the cameras on Chrisean, she coming in the house from the airport, and she's saying she's gonna go out tonight and hang out, yada yada yada, and they show Elle getting the suitcase out. She asked him to get her an outfit, and the next thing you know, they show Chrisean and she was changing to her outfit. Now, The one thing that I didn't like about that is because they have yet to show, and we on episode number 4, Chrisean or Blueface doing anything remotely close to hygiene, right? So you don't see them like in the bathroom doing some type of facial anything or a skin regimen, or you don't show them get in the shower. So on this scene, you just show her say all of that, and then boom, to the next scene, she's dressed in city girl attire going to hang out. Now, granted, Chrisean may have washed. I was not there. I do not know. So I'm not judging Chrisean about that. What I am saying is, Chrisean, if you did not wash, I'm a little unclear because you just got off a flight from Oklahoma City and a whole day of yada, yada, yada from what it looks like from filming. So you did need to shower. On top of all of that, whether you was in OKC or not, you were planning to go out and hang out, which will require dancing, gyrating, pumping, humping, moving around, which will require sweat. So you want to be clean to do so. And you need to shower before you go do any of that. But Zeus Network did not show you with a towel on, a robe on, a scarf on, a makeup kit out, a curling iron, which is normally the type of things that women do when they're preparing to go hang out. So them going from one scene to the next made it seem like you didn't wash your ass. And again, I don't know if that was done purposely. I don't know if you really didn't wash your ass. However it goes, Chrisean, you may need to fix that because you're doing too much fucking smoking, drinking, and having a good old time for you not to be able to exfoliate and wash your ass. So I don't know about that. But in any event, you know, she showed up and she was dressed in her city girl gear, which was like some they was like some long bell bottomish mermaid pants, and she had on like a crop top black, you know, all black. Look, it wasn't a bad situation. Her hair, I didn't see her do any type of gel down, recurl, any of it. Just looked dead and flat and long. And then she started to do her makeup in the car. So I was like, yeah, I don't really like that because it's giving a vibe of, and again, I don't know if Zeus did it purposely or not, but it just still gave off the vibe like you did not shower. You just went upstairs and changed. Anyway, they started headed to the club. On their way to the club in the car are miraculous. Well, she did call a girl on the phone when they were coming from the airport. And then the friend appeared. And the friend gave me, she was a cute little girl. You know, again, Chrisean and all of them look very young to me. So Chrisean looks like 23. The friend looked like 23, like very young, but a cute girl. Look what I did. Like, she looked very natural. She ain't have a whole bunch of bundles flowing here to Africa. Like, she ain't have all these lashes. You know, she just looked very natural. She was a cute girl. Cute light-skinned girl. What I did get from it was that, her and Chrisean appeared to be friends because Chrisean was telling her the things that was going on between her and Blueface and yada, yada, yada. So it made me feel like, to some degree, she looks at this person like a friend. If she is somebody that I don't know about, I don't really follow Chrisean and Blueface's antics in the public, so I can't really tell you if she is somebody and I just don't know about her because I don't know. Anyway, so they go on head over to the club, right? On their way to the club, Blueface calls on the phone. Well, she called Blueface. I don't know how it went. But then it was like the debate of, oh, no, you outside. Oh, no, you outside. Oh, you outside. Oh, no, you outside. And you could see both of them were jealous that the other person was hanging out without them. So that went on. You know, they got to the club. When they got to the club, at first it was kind of like, is this still going on here or is it over? And they was like, no, it might be still fake lit. So they was like, okay. This is why I hate. Let me drink some water while I'm on here. I'm sorry, y'all, but the hiccups, it annoys me. Now my ghetto neighbors in the hallway talking while I'm recording. Can't wait to get my penthouse in my office. But anywho, her and the girl, they see the club is lit. They head out. They say, okay, we're going to go to the club, right? So Chrisean is in the club, and it was a whole bunch of, like, gyrating on the girl that she came with, dancing and humping on her, drinking, taking shots with beer, yada, 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 yada. Again, the outfit they hear, there was still no tooth, but we are not questioning the tooth at this moment because she did share in the last video with the person that she was corresponding with that the tooth is missing, but she has a plan to get a new tooth. Now, my prayer is that she get a new tooth sooner than later, but in any event, at least we know where the tooth is. At least we know that. At least we know the reasoning that the tooth is not in the mouth. Okay, so that's fine, right? In any event, they out there and they're leaving the club and it's like some flowers. Some people selling flowers out there. Chrisean has some flowers, but then they figure out like, girl, those not your flowers. That guy selling them, he just let you hold them. And apparently when he told Chrisean the price, she was like, take these bum ass flowers back. I'm not paying all that for the flowers. And again, L, the stylist, I like L. I like him as Chrisean's friend. I don't know where I am about him styling her because again, he doesn't look bad. I just feel like what she puts on, she doesn't need to be told to put that on by a stylist because it looks like. Anywho, I like Elle because when she saw whatever price the roses was, she gave them back and he was like, I'll buy you the roses. Like, you know, and he did buy the roses. She was like, oh, thank you, Elle. You made me feel special. And that's one thing I do like about him. He, along with Blueface, has a way of handling Chrisean that allows her to be that demure, innocent baby that she's used to being when she's with her family, right? So I like Elle. I like him. I like the way he handles Chrisean. So if he's going to be around as her stylist, if that's the title they're going to give, that's fine. As long as he's around because he is needed. And I think he's even more needed because Blueface is doing all of those things to manipulate Chrisean when I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, Elle's intentions are a little bit more pure, right? So I like Elle. So anyway, Lord, the party night is over and this is where things get real, right? Which I'm a little confused. So apparently Blueface has returned from Vegas, right? And he got to their house where I'm guessing Chrisean is. And one piece of thumping must have went on because when they flip to the next scene after the club, you see there's cops. You know, they doing their little captions. And they said that Blueface and Chrisean had a physical altercation 30 minutes before the set for the Zeus camera people had arrived. So what they show is Chrisean is all scraped and whelped up and and the back of Blueface is all bloody and knotted and his head and it just looked like they had really been through the fire and through the wire, right? So I'm like, what the hell happened here? So, what I think happened, and I could be wrong, but this is what I think. The night before when they were at the club, after Elle bought Chrisean the flowers and she was feeling all special and lovey-dovey, she started saying little things. I'm not going to lie. I didn't chime into what she was saying to the friend that she was there with that I told you she bought what to the club, that she was dubbing on all night. But she started saying little things to her and I could see the friend had a little bashful face and Chrisean had a little bashful face. And I'm looking at both these young girls looking like this is a romantic encounter they're having. And then Chrisean kissed her in the mouth and they both did the same little stupid bashful faces as if they were shy. And, you know, they gave me the impression that they were sexually attracted to one another, right? What I assume happened, and I could be wrong, I assume that Blueface maybe seen online them kissing from the night before. Maybe he came home and caught them kissing in the bed. I don't know what happened, but I feel like Blueface found out that she was kissing another girl and he had an issue with it because his feelings is whenever I kiss another girl, you call that cheating. But when you do it, it's okay. And I think the argument erupted from there. And when the argument erupted, I think that Chrisean called him a bitch ass nigga. And when she called him he was offended by that and he grabbed her fingers and bent them back. And when he bent them back, she hit him and the fight ensued from there. Right? That's kind of the gist of what I got from, you know, what they were saying and, the back and forth between them. But the back and forth was Chrisean was sitting in one of his cars and he wanted her to get out, and he just was doing like his Stevie J thing where he calling her like a bitch and a scaredy cat. She's supposed to be gangsta and trying to antagonize her to get out. And she's like, look, just leave me alone. We already went through too much today. I'm over this right now. Leave me alone. And he like, I will leave you alone when you start acting like a bitch, because I want to date a bitch and not a nigga. You think you a nigga. That's the problem. Like, he just was doing so many things to antagonize her. But I think not only was his antics to antagonize her, I think a lot of what he was saying is what he feels. He feels like, she attacks him and jumps on him and dives on him because she thinks she's a man, and when she start acting like a man, he gonna treat her like a man and beat the dog shit out of her, which I'm mortified looking at him for expressing that. But I'm also saying to myself, wow, this is what young people are this is how they're conducting themselves in romantic relationships. What is that? What is that? What is that for a man to be beating the shit out of a woman? And what is that for a woman to be attacking a man? But what it is what happens. We're dealing with real life here. So I think for him, anytime he feels like she dives on him and shows any masculine energy, he's going to match that and beat the shit out of her. And hearing that was sad, right? And I think with her, I think she lacks communication skills. So for her to be able to verbalize what she feel is very hard. And Blueface is also very manipulative, and he has a little bit more intellect than her. So he's able to run circles around her. And when she realizes that she can't communicate and can't get her point across, either one or two things gonna happen. Either she's gonna become submissive and be like, okay, all right, it's enough, I'm sorry, or she's going to get angry and dive on his ass. And when she dives on him, he is willing, as he said, to dive back, because that's what happened in the fight. So anyway, they got the rocking and rolling, and just the way he was getting his point across, because again, I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that it's not fair for you to put your hands on me, whether man, woman, horse, cat, dog. So I understood his point, but I also felt like if you were a person who didn't want to go through the violence and the disrespect with a person, then once they start putting their hands on you, you will remove yourself. But instead of him removing himself, he's going to match his energy and beat her down, knowing that he has that masculine strength that she may not, or she may possess. Either way, why would you want to find that out when you're a man? And one of the things that I also didn't like that he did was when they were arguing, right? Okay, so what happened was he was trying to get her out the car, cursing how she wouldn't get out the car. So finally, when he saw he couldn't get her out the car, he went back inside and he left her alone. So he had his cousin. His cousin was like, bro, you need stitches. Like, that gash is big. That situation was crazy. You need stitches. I could see he instantly got an attitude like, I don't need no stitches. So the cousin was like, okay, bro, that's on you. Go on and walk around with a gash in your fucking head. That ain't on me, right? So anyway, you see L pull up, the stylist, my boy, and he goes and he sits in the car with Chrisean, and he finally gets her to get out the car. So when she gets out the car, she goes inside the house, and her and Blueface commence to having a conversation. And that's where he just basically, what he did was try to justify his actions and belittle her for her actions. And that is the part that I didn't like, because I do not want to take away from Chrisean's actions, but I also needed him to be accountable for his as well. And I felt like he wasn't doing that. I felt like his point is like, I don't bother people, I don't do nothing to people, I don't put my hands on people, but when they do it to me, if I have a reaction, everybody should be okay with that, because I'm only reacting to what somebody did to me. Which would be fine in a perfect world, but we're not in a perfect world. And because we're not, instead of you having reactions, you should have responses. Because when you have responses to situation as opposed to reactions, it makes you more responsible in handling the situation. But because that's not the case, you're automatically reacting. So when she does something, you do something, and y'all both try to take it to the next level. That's why you had a gash in the back of your head, and that's why she was all whelped up and scraped up and yada, yada, yada. Right? But the point he was trying to get across was that she started it, she ignited it, and then she did all of these things, and all he did was respond. And when she saw that she was backed in a corner by his line of questioning and his way of breaking down the story, she just, transformed and got submissive. And that was the part that made me feel bad for her, because I felt like, yes, again, if he's telling the truth about what he's saying, because I was not there, I do not know. So I'll say what he's saying is allegedly true. If he is telling the truth and you did come off aggressive first and, you started the drama and you led the path down to the violence and so on and so forth, that is one thing. But baby, it takes two to tangle. It takes two to motherfucking tangle. So if you led it down that path, he continued on that path. So both of you are accountable, not just you. So I felt like, yes, you could take ownership for your part, but I felt like she was taking ownership for the entire part. And at that point, she just became submissive. Like, baby, I'm sorry. And I'm just looking at Chrisean because it brought me back to the thoughts of she genuinely feels like she needs him. She needs him. So at that point, he was upset and, he didn't want to talk about it. So now I'm going to try to get him to stop being upset, and I'm just looking at her like, no, he has a right to be upset, but so the fuck do you. So do you. And you need to verbalize that and he needs to acknowledge it, and y'all need to work through this like young adults. Not this BS of, you did something, now I'm mad at you and I can act more mad than you, and then you got to kiss my ass, and then I'll be back acting like nothing ain't happened until we in a violent brawl again. So I just was like, oh my God. That was crazy. One thing that he also brought up was like him using the bitch word towards her, and you could see that that's something that she really didn't like, because she was really strong on expressing the point that I'm not a bitch, call me by my name, I don't like that. And one of the things that he did was something that came up in my relationship too, and I don't know if this is an issue for other folks, because from what I hear, folks enjoy it. It kind of, heightens things for folks in a very sexual way, and you get aroused by it. Me personally, I did not like it. I was not aroused by it. I'm not a gangster bitch. I didn't enjoy it. He was like, please, like, because basically she was like, don't call me a bitch. He was like, you always get sensitive about that. It's not that serious. He was trying to make her feel like him saying those words is not that serious. And she was like, it is, and I don't like it. And whatever. And then he said, well, you could tell you're sensitive about it, because even when we having sex and I call you a bitch, you stop and you be like, don't call me that. He was like, what type of whack shit is that? Like, what type of whack sex is that? And I'm thinking to myself about that, because that also came up in my relationship where I did share with my boyfriend as well. I don't want to be called what I view as derogatory names when we are in a passionate moment. And again, am I saying that these men, Blueface and my boyfriend included, meant it in a derogatory way? No. Maybe you meant it in something good. I just want you to know that it doesn't feel good to me. So because of that, I'm going to share that. No, I don't want to be called your bitch, the bitch, a bitch, low bitch. I don't want to be called anything pertaining to that word. It does not make me feel good at all. And it definitely does not make me feel good in moments of passion. And that's what he tried to bring up to her, to basically like tease her about it. Like, oh, and belittle her about it. Like, oh, what type of whack shit is that? Like trying to call their sex corny because she don't want to be called the bitch. And I'm looking at him like, how dare you be here telling this girl to grow up when your ass need to grow up as well? But you know why you would be doing that? Because you're a manipulator, and you know that you can manipulate this young lady. So in any event, moving right along, right? So they went back and forth. And I mean, the bottom line of it was she became submissive, and the energy shifted, and now she want to make everything okay. So now she's digging in his hair, and she's trying to get the glass out, and she's trying to help him. And you could see he was really in a space of like, he needed medical attention. You could tell from that gash in the back of his head, he needed medical attention. So he was trying not to, but in any event, it had to lead to, you need to take your ass to the hospital. In any event, let me bring up this part again, because this is a red flag for me, as I said before, and I don't know if it's Zeus being shady or if it's the reality of the situation. I didn't see Chrisean or Blueface take a shower, brush their teeth, comb their hair, or any of the sort. It just was, snap and go. I am mortified about none of the hygiene being taken care of and that being showed on the show. Because every other reality show, you see people in a robe with a towel on their head, and you know they just got the shower and the mirror's misty and they wiping like you see things and remnants of I just washed my ass. Throughout this entire show, we up to episode 4, I have not seen anything that would make me feel like they are showering. I haven't even seen the fucking bathroom. Come on. So in any event, he finally agrees to, yeah, I might just need some medical attention. She's trying to get the vacuum to get glass. It was just anyway. So anyway, he gets treated at the hospital. They don't want the cameras there, all that. Now, one thing that I found to be so comical, I was like, wait. When they leave in the hospital, they show full body Chrisean and Blueface. Chrisean got on poom shorts, a crop hoodie, no bra, no tooth, and then she had on these pom-pom stilettos. Chrisean. Chrisean, where you was going, sis? Y'all was going to the emergency room. You know what? It don't even matter where sis was going. Go ahead, Chrisean. Rock your stilettos. Yes, bitch. I don't know. So when they get back home, they kind of just like sitting around and he feels a little better and he gets a call from WAC 100. Now, WAC 100, I don't subscribe to WAC 100. Yeah, whatever. So but I did hear that he's closely affiliated with Blueface. He's his manager. So anyway, he gets a call. What I found odd was when he got the call, he looked at the phone, he saw who it was, and then he kind of shooed Chrisean away. So obviously that let me know Chrisean and Uncle Wack, they don't see it for each other. In any event, Uncle Wack is like, hey, what's going on? I saw on TMZ, you were in the hospital. I'm going to stop by, visit you. I need to know what's going on, right? So he stopped by. Blueface went outside to talk to him. And basically the gist of the conversation was like, as a manager, WAC 100 is over Blueface and Chrisean. He's over Chrisean. He's over the antics. He's over the missing tooth. He's over the acne. He's over the negligence in the hygiene. WAC is over everything that pertains to this relationship and that life. He wants the old Blueface back that was making hits and making money, right? So he's kind of trying to, what I can give Uncle Wack credit for is he was not talking, because again, sometimes like when I see him in other like interviews and stuff, he can come off like the lead gang member that's like spearheading a gang meeting when I've seen him like in other interviews. But when he was talking to Blueface, he kind of gave me the impression like he cared for Blueface, like kind of like like an uncle. So he was like, come on, nephew, like come on, you got to get it together, and yada yada yada. But in the same token, he was saying the reason why you can't get it together is because of this girl. And he was like, you got to keep in mind, you have kids that have nothing to do with this girl. So you need to be making money and doing what you need to do, if for nobody else, for your freaking kids. And Blueface was like, yeah, I know, Unc, yeah, Unc, you right, Unc, yeah, Unc, you right, Unc, yeah, Unc, whatever you say, Unc, yeah. Basically, Unc, I don't want to hear this shit right now. I got a concussion and I'm trying to go upstairs and get some head, and that's how that's going to be, right? So Unc said, well, I tell you what, we need a hit and you need to make some music. So what you need to do is come to the studio tonight, get in your bag and record. He said, my only request is you got to leave that girl home and you can't tell her where you're going. Because if you bring her with you, you're going to be distracted. And if you tell her where you're going, she's going to show up. So please come tonight, ready to handle business, knock some songs out. Let's get these record labels a hit. Let's get back to what we do, which is handling your business so you can take care of your kids, right? So he like, all right, Unc, I'm going to do what I got to do, yada, 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 right? So at some point, Chrisean goes down and she kind of ear hustle, and she hear what Wack is telling Blueface, and she like, child, please, my man don't want to hear that shit. He don't even like talking this song. Tell him bring his ass back upstairs to come get his dick sucked. Like, she ain't got time for him to be listening to Uncle Wack. But Chrisean did something at this point that made me say, what the hell? But it also gave me a glimpse into what is really going on, which I kind of already knew. Chrisean can show up as the demure, innocent, a little bit slow. I don't know what's going on. I don't really wash up all the time. Help me and guide me, young lady. But really and truly, Chrisean is calculating and planning everything down to the millisecond. And my belief is, in the end, Chrisean is going to come out the victor. Chrisean went in the bathroom, and I guess, I just was assuming, but I feel like this was going to happen. She said to herself, I done bust my man in the head, so I know I gotta suck his dick, because I was wrong. So let me go in the bathroom and start putting on this slutty lipstick and get myself together, because when he come back from down there with Uncle Wack, I'm gonna make him feel good. Even though neither one of us ain't shower since episode 0. But anywho, she got in the mirror. She putting on her lipstick. You know what Chrisean said to herself? She said, hey, queen, don't let him call you a bitch again. Bust that head open again. And she answers to herself, all right, queen, got you. Girl, I was cracking up. I said, yeah, Chrisean, talk your shit. In that moment, Chrisean let me know, all of y'all bloggers and YouTubers and outsiders saying, I need this man. I can't function without him. He got me in the chokehold. I'm doing whatever he say. I'm looking like a fool. Bitch, I am facilitating this ride. Yeah, Chrisean. Chrisean told herself, don't let him call you a bitch again. And when he do, bust his head open again, queen. Girl, I was cracking up. I said, yeah, Chrisean. Okay, Chrisean. Okay. From today, I'm going to stop saying that Blueface is spearheading that boat. Chrisean is driving it and him. Okay, now. So anyway, they fast forward. Now, Blueface, I don't know what happened. If she ever gave him head. I'm just assuming. They fast forward and Chrisean and Blueface go to the studio. Now, remember, the plan was that Blueface go to the studio, not Chrisean. Well, child, Blueface played that dust. And they both in the studio eating wings and cracking jokes and playing beats. She like, babe, you like this, babe? Babe, you into this, babe? Chrisean is a piece of work. Anyway, Uncle Wack walk in. Uncle Wack is mortified to see Chrisean. You can see in his face, he kind of gave like, you know what he gave? You know how you got that uncle whose brother passed away and he taking care of his brother's son, and his brother's son is showing up like a bitch, and he like, bro, I'm trying to raise you right and you getting on my nerves. That's the impression Uncle Wack gave me, like, what is wrong with you, nigga? So he looking at them like, oh God, oh brother. So he like, okay. You know, him and Chrisean started having like some dialogue, back and forth. Because what I can see and honestly say about Chrisean is, to some degree, she does have respect. I don't know if it's because she knows Uncle Wack is Blueface's manager, so she just don't want to go all out rock. But to some degree, she holds back a little bit. But they did start exchanging words. And in the process of them exchanging words, Uncle Wack looked at Blueface like, yo, I told you, don't bring her here. She had to scratch that a lot. You know what Blueface said to Uncle Wack? But I love her. I said, again, yes, Chrisean, steer the boat. Yes, Chrisean know what she doing. Chrisean know what she doing. Go on, Chrisean. So anyway, you know, Uncle Wack was like, you know what? Once he said, but I love her, Uncle Wack looked at him like, I know you want dope and dog food. So he was like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm leaving. So then it flips to Uncle Wack is outside and Chrisean go to have a conversation with him. And, you know, it's obvious that Uncle Wack and Chrisean can't coexist. They can't. They cannot coexist. Unfortunately, it can't happen. So at some point, Blueface is going to be forced to pick a side, and that's going to come sooner than later.